Hey everyone, today we're diving into another powerful clip from Professor Jordan Peterson taken from the Diary of a CEO podcast. So with his insights as a guide, I'll show you what it really takes to find true happiness and why chasing it is not the way to go. Let's get into it.
Because you think maybe as you're successful, you're happier. Well, first of all, I'm not sure that success and happiness are the same thing.
Success and happiness are not the same thing, but they can be under the right conditions. So most of the time I would agree with Jordan Peterson's claim that chasing happiness for its own sake is misguided, it's fleeting, unreliable, and often rooted in comfort rather than purpose. But what often happens with generalizations like this is that they miss the nuance. So let me give you a practical example. Take an artist. Do you really think their happiness comes solely from the amount of money they make selling their work? Or do they find satisfaction knowing people are moved by their art, that something they created stirred emotion, provoked thought, or helped someone feel seen? It's not about chasing success, it's about doing what you're meant to do and doing it well enough that the world responds. So when your passion serves a purpose and that purpose resonates with others, that's where happiness truly exists. And that's what Peterson means, which I agree 100%. But here's my counterclaim, the nuance I mentioned earlier. So for some people, success is indeed the only marker that registers as true validation. This ties with my theory that we are all governed by unconscious traumas. So one of these traumas is abandonment. And I can attest to the veracity of this statement because I lived with one of these people that are primarily affected by the trauma of abandonment for 20 years. So their cognitive style reflects an unconscious drive to demonstrate their worth and value, ensuring that they are indispensable and never abandoned again. So they focus on efficiency, structure, and tangible results as a way to counteract feelings of inadequacy by proving their competency and securing their place. So abandonment creates a void where internal validation is not enough. So they compensate by seeking external markers of success, promotions, accolades, and visible achievements to reassure themselves and others of their worth. So they equate their value with their ability to contribute effectively. So this leads to a relentless drive to complete tasks, achieve goals, ensuring they remain relevant and needed. So in other words, these types of people equate success with happiness because when they succeed, they are able to quiet the unconscious traumas or demons that unconsciously but surely guide their behaviors. So success doesn't mean happiness to most, but not all. To some, it does.
I'm not sure that we want them to be the same thing.
Here, I 100% agree. We do not want it to be because, again, the generalization doesn't fit everyone, and trying to make everyone fit into the same category is a recipe for frustration, disillusionment, and feelings of inadequacy, which can only lead to more misunderstanding and more pain. So it only benefits the people who are predisposed to seek monetary success. So not the artists, doesn't benefit the homemakers, the philosophers, the scientists, the dreamers. We are a very diverse species and we need that diversity to maintain balance. Having only one measure of success is a very ignorant, misinformed, or even blind way to look at the human experience. We thrive because we are different. Trying to force everyone to fit into the same mold doesn't just hurt individuals, it weakens the entire system.
I don't even know what people mean when they say they want to be happy. If you investigate it, technically, you'll find out that really what people mean when they say they want to be happy is that they don't want to suffer. That's different than the enthusiastic joy that you might think about, that's part parcel of a child's laughter. You want to be happy. What, do you want to be laughing all the time? Is that what you're saying? Well, no, that's not what I mean. Well, what do you mean? Do you mean the gratification that comes along with the cookie at 1 a.m? No, that's not what I mean. Well, okay, what do you mean? Well, I don't know.
Happiness isn't the true goal. It's more of a byproduct that can emerge after we address what's really going on inside us. What is the actual goal then? The goal is to suppress or resolve the hidden unconscious traumas that are silently running the show, shaping how we think, feel, and react without us even realizing it. So remember what I said earlier about the people who seek success? They are actually trying to quiet down the trauma of abandonment. So that's what I mean. These traumas, these deep-seated fears and unresolved emotions become our operating system. They color how we interpret the world, form relationships, and make decisions. And because they're rooted in survival, they often generate a constant background noise of anxiety and fear. So what do? We interact with the world, we chase goals, we seek pleasure, validation, success, not necessarily because we want those things for their own sake, but because we're trying to quiet the discomfort that lives inside. The discomfort that tells us we're not enough, that we're unsafe, that something is wrong. Happiness is not the goal. The temporary silencing of our inner conflict is. Unless we deal with the root, the unconscious turmoil, happiness will remain fleeting. This is why many people seem to have it all and still feel miserable. But realize it's not about avoiding discomfort, it's about understanding it. So because how can we change or manipulate what exists in a hidden and unreachable part of our brain, the unconscious, right? So even if we could reach it, like with hypnosis or something, how would we treat it? I don't know, it eludes me. So Carl Jung, which I know Jordan Peterson is a huge fan of, said that much of our suffering comes from what he called the shadow. So the parts of ourselves we reject, suppress, or remain unconscious of. So these parts don't disappear just because we ignore them. Instead, they control us from the background, influencing our behaviors, fears, and compulsions.
Like, yeah, you don't know. Partly what you mean is you don't want pointless suffering. Fair enough, fair enough. But that doesn't mean it's happiness that's your goal.
Nope, happiness is not the goal. The suppression of our inner demons is. And by demons, I mean fears. And why are all of us riddled with fears? Because they were born out of our survival mechanisms. So these mechanisms are the very thing that has kept us alive through history and prehistory, being hunted by animals, being hunted by rival tribes, being hunted by nature itself. Look at us, we have no fangs, no claws, no hardened skin, no sharp teeth, right? So our survival instinct is what forced our brains to develop by being wary of danger, fear, trauma. Trauma is our eternally present teacher. So one of the main reasons why we built cities was to escape nature. So it's all explained in my book, so allow me this shameless plug. So if anyone knows how I could contact Jordan Peterson, I would really love to have him take a look at my book. I would love his feedback. A lot of my ideas not only align with these teachings, but expand on them. They contradict, some provide a different, not necessarily opposite view, just maybe a different branch. I think he would really, really enjoy it. So if anyone knows of a way to put this video in front of him or something, please let me know, or do it yourself if you feel so inclined. I'd love for him to push back on my ideas.
I don't think that's your goal. I don't think your podcast would be successful if that was your goal. I think you would have washed up on the shoals of triviality long ago. I do. Yeah, well, there's something you're doing that's working. There's something about the way you're approaching the situation that's of broad appeal. There's some archetypal pattern that's you're acting out in your conduct in your podcast.
What Jordan Peterson is trying to say is that the host has consciously or unconsciously aligned himself with the algorithm of the universe. So again, this is covered in my book. The entire pillar number 7, entitled Using Our Strengths, is dedicated to it and explains it in much more detail. So it basically means that we are all born with inherent strengths or skills, and when we identify them and do our best to use them and uphold them, the world seems to open up. Opportunities, success, and victories become byproducts of our aligned behavior, which ultimately ties to God and His plan for the cosmos. So this might sound abstract at first, but it's actually deeply practical. Here's the core of it. We are all born with inherent strengths, talents, or inclinations. These aren't random, they're the overcompensation caused by the unconscious fear and trauma. So trauma of betrayal, for example, creates strategic, future-focused people. Elon Musk and even our own Jordan Peterson are, in my view, influenced by the trauma of betrayal. So another one, trauma of incarceration, creates people who want to experience life through sensory means and also do whatever they can to not feel trapped, be it their jobs or even by the law, like Joe Rogan, for example. And when we take time to identify these gifts and then have the courage and discipline to use them, something almost mystical begins to happen. The world starts to respond, doors open, people show up, opportunities begin to unfold, and success, recognition, and fulfillment, they stop being goals and instead become byproducts of our alignment.
Because otherwise it wouldn't have the effect it has.
It's true. I agree. I don't know what it is, but
this isn't self-help fluff. It's the metaphysical structure that I cannot prove empirically, but I can witness every day simply by observing how people behave. When you live in harmony with your design, you're also living in harmony with something greater. Call it the universe, call it divine order, or simply call it God's plan for the cosmos, because your strength is not just for you, it's a contribution to the whole. So when you uphold it, you are not just succeeding, you're fulfilling a sacred role in the balance of existence. So Joe Rogan's desire for freedom brings balance to the duty-bound, follow the rules of a Captain America-like figure. They both should uphold their programming. None of them is wrong. They are just the counterbalance of each other. They are both essential, and when they perform their individual skills at their best, that's when they align. That's when the world starts opening up, and it's like this for everybody. Now, if they could only understand this and not think of each other as the enemy, now that's when we get real progress. And that is basically my entire message. So coexistence by understanding and awareness, not suppression or conflict. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.